Hello everyone out there. A quick word before our episode. Whatever platform you enjoy the More You NoCo on, please hit that subscribe button and write us a review. This helps other people in Northern Colorado find us out there on the interwebs. If you leave us a written review on iTunes and include your name, we'll give you a shout out on future episodes. Whoa, I know. Anyway, don't forget we are on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google, and all podcast apps on your devices. Share episodes you like with other people in our NoCo community. And don't forget to let us know if you think of any awesome people who should be on the show. Now, on to today's conversation. Welcome to the More You NoCo, bringing curiosity and community connection to Northern Colorado, one conversation at a time. Thanks for joining us. Let's get to it. I am your host, Ivan Wayne. Some of the stories of people who live in Northern Colorado are fascinating just to get to listen to. Today's guest has lived in several corners of the world, traveled to even more, and now lives here in Fort Collins. In addition, our guest started her own company after being frustrated and saddened by products out there claiming to be hypoallergenic jewelry. She started the Harmony Bazaar, a wonderful business helping people who can't wear common jewelry. She has a wonderful life story and a fascinating company. Without further ado, here is Nina Brewer. Hello out there listeners, welcome to the More You NoCo. I sit here on campus at Front Range Community College in Fort Collins with Nina Brewer. So first of all, hello.
Hi there, Ivan.
And you said this used to be your stomping ground.
Yes, a long time ago. When I moved out to Fort Collins in the year 2000, I was actually taking classes here and trying to get a GED because all my education was overseas. Mm-hmm. So I did GED and then some college classes until I got a job. So yeah, I used to meet my friends here all the time and stuff. So especially the library. And
was it at this campus? Was it
right
this
here?
Location?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly right here.
Because Chris Bates, who had been on the show before, said there was something like there used to be a different campus. That this used to actually be somewhere else.
No, actually, when I started coming, it was literally the end of the year 2000 when I moved here. So we started right here in January, and I remember, it was right here at this campus.
Dang.
So,
So homecoming, here it is.
Exactly. It's been a while.
And you said your education is from overseas.
Yes. So
where's that from?
Well, I was born in Pakistan, but basically I left when I was 8 days old. It was a very brief stay at that time.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of the phrase military brats. Mm. I am what you call a oil brat. So basically my dad worked for a Texas-based oil company. And right out of university, he got that job. When my parents were married, they kind of moved. And when I was born, they just kind of went back to where they were living at the time, which was in Saudi Arabia. And due to that, we've had a lot of opportunities and we traveled quite a bit wherever Dad's, work took us. We kind of went to that country for either a few months or years and kind of back and forth between wherever we were going and Pakistan and stuff. So, yeah. Back and forth.
And you mentioned over email that you have traveled and lived in multiple places. So yes. What's your rap sheet of places you've lived?
It's kind of long. So actual living, it's kind of strange because we would live in one place, but then we would travel from there and kind of go to different places. So kind of explored quite a bit. So growing up, first and foremost, was the Middle East, my dad being in oil. So we lived in Saudi, and then it was different regions. We've been to Dubai when Dubai wasn't what it is now.
Right,
it's just, oh my gosh. Yeah, definitely wasn't like this. So different places. We've lived in Canada for quite some time. When I was a child, my brother was almost born there. But we moved back for a while.
Gonna be Canadian.
Exactly. And then the UK, we were prominently in the UK quite a few times. So that was kind of nice growing up to see all different parts of the United Kingdom and, live in England and Scotland and stuff. And then from there, we would kind of take excursions all over Europe. So that was fun. So lots of European countries, which was kind of fun growing up, and absorbing all these different cultures is where I used to see different bazaars and, souks and stuff like that. And people always had jewelry and gemstones and stuff. So even as a child, it always interested me. When I was picking the name, it was kind of a natural thing that came to me. And I thought, oh, Bazaar, that's kind of like, nice to have like that East meets West twist on it, kind of like me.
Right. Yeah. So your business is called Harmony Bazaar, right?
Yes.
And what does Harmony Bazaar do?
So Harmony Bazaar, basically, I make homemade, handmade, and hypoallergenic jewelry. And it basically started with this piece right here that I'm wearing. It's my 3 hearts necklace, and I made it for myself, and it kind of went from there. But the funny story is I turned 40 back 2 years ago, and I was looking for hypoallergenic jewelry because I can't buy jewelry just off the racks and wear it because I would just break out. Even if it said it was hypoallergenic, I couldn't figure it out. Why, if it's nickel and lead free, why can't I wear this? So for my birthday, I basically asked for a ton of Etsy gift cards because Etsy is where people have a lot of, handmade items. So I was like, okay, great. Ordered 4 items. Out of those 4, only 1 worked. And I couldn't figure it out. I was like, what is going on? So after going on the internet, doing some research, I learned about different metals that make things, hypoallergenic. But I realized that my allergy wasn't just to nickel and lead, it was cadmium. And that's apparently in everything you find. If it doesn't say cadmium free, that's what you're going to be allergic to. And from what I understand, cadmium has trace amounts of nickel, and it's so little that they don't have to report it. So if somebody has a nickel allergy, like I do, even if it said it was nickel free, just that little bit can also set you off if you have an allergy to it. So after I did the research, I found people on Etsy who sold like different like charms and stuff and necklaces that were cadmium free. So I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get some stuff for myself and make something for myself. So went and picked up, once the charms came, it was hilarious. I went to the Joann's down in Loveland and I said, I'm looking for a hammer. I want like the hammered look. So where do I find a hammer? They're like, I think you're looking for a jewelry hammer. I said, yes, I am. So showed them the YouTube video I'd been studying, and the ladies were very nice. They helped me, and I went home, sat down in my closet when my kids were sleeping, and sat down and made my first piece, which is right here.
There it is. You still have it.
I still have it, and I wear it everywhere. And it kind of started it all. So that was it.
So I read from your online bio, you started making things for friends and family, right?
Yes. And in fact, I was designing jewelry a long time ago. So when I was in Pakistan, I was going to college and all our friends were getting married or engaged and stuff. So I used to like etch out designs, sketch them out and give them ideas on how to get things made. And over there, you can just go and these craftspeople who are amazing. They'll just make gorgeous jewelry for you based on your personal designs. You can pick the stones and stuff. So I'd done that in the past, but I'd never really picked up, pliers and put things together and stuff. So that was kind of hard for me. And so once I started doing that and I made this came in a pack of 5. So I was like, okay, what do I do with the rest of it? And so
more necklaces for you.
Right, exactly. But this identical one. So my cousins were visiting from Dubai. And of course they saw it, my cousin loved it. She's like, well, I'll take one. And then I gave another one to another friend. And then I sent one to my mom. So I had one more left. And sure enough, somebody said, well, I love your necklace. Can you make me one of those? I said, well, I actually have one left. They're like, oh, perfect. I need it for Christmas. I was like, that's interesting. And so she said, well, how do I pay you for it? Do you have like an Etsy store? And I said, no, I don't. How hard would it be to set up an Etsy store? So looked into that, set up an Etsy store, and literally it was the only thing on there for a while till I started making
the 3-heart necklace.
That was it.
Yeah.
And then we had to come up with a name. So that's where we were Harmony Bazaar then.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And where does the harmony come from?
So harmony actually comes from where we live in Fort Collins. Used to be Harmony, Colorado. So the Harmony School, I'm sure you've seen it. There's a little school there off of Harmony and Timberline. Yeah. So that whole area was actually Harmony, Colorado way back when. Wow. And it was a teeny little place. So they've preserved the graveyard right there. That was the Harmony graveyard and the school. So I used to always tell my husband like, oh, if I ever do a blog or something, I'm going to do it out of Harmony, Colorado. And I love the fact, that Fort Collins is so diverse. We have people from different cultures, countries, and it's just always fun to meet people. So I thought, that would be kind of a cool way of naming Fort Collins Harmony again. So I just thought, oh, cool, it has a nice ring to it, Harmony Bazaar.
Dang, that is so neat. I thought it was like maybe you lived on Harmony. I had no idea about Harmony, Colorado. Yeah. But now with all the growth, I guess Fort Collins has kind of like come down and took over Harmony.
Exactly.
So has it unfranchised as Harmony, or is it still a town? Like Harmony itself?
No, it's not. It's just that school is there and the graveyard's there. Yeah. So I think the only reason I knew about it because the school still has a plaque that says Harmony School. So I think it was like way, way back when I don't think there was anything but farmland here. Wow. And it must have been a little piece of Harmony, but Harmony Road gets its name from that because it was their main street, I guess. So, but I just loved the name. I thought, oh, I wish it was still called Harmony. That's kind of nice.
So Harmony Bazaar, you start making jewelry, you put out an Etsy shop, and where does it go from there to your full-fledged business today? So,
of course, when you make one thing, you want to make more. Mm-hmm. And so then I started with another necklace, and I was lucky enough that people liked two. And my best friend, Michelle, she had asked me, I loved Handstamp Jewelry. And I was like, it looks hard, but I'm going to try it out, see how it goes. She's like, well, if you want to try it out, I have all this stuff. I tried it. I didn't love it, but you can try it if you like it. Otherwise, just sell the stuff on Craigslist or something. I said, oh, great to practice with. What I didn't realize was she brought over like everything I could possibly need to start. So it was like hammers and like little metal stamps and everything. So I started out making, again, gifts for family and friends. Mm-hmm. And I thought this is great practice, pieces for me. And then the ones that I noticed were most requested were the ones I started putting up on the Etsy store slowly. So we officially opened up the Etsy store October. By the time December came, I'd already had 30 orders. And I was
October and December of what year?
This was 2017.
2017, okay.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, there's something to it. So then I was like, now I want to order more things. So how do I do that? So I told my husband, I'll do a few craft shows because it's the holiday season. And I did 2, and they were pretty successful, and people liked my stuff, and they kept asking, well, where's your card? Where's this, where's that? So we just like printed out cards at home. It was so, the beginning of everything. Yeah. So I was like, I do this. And people like the fact that I could do custom work for them. That's the one thing I love about hand stamping. So from that, it kind of grew. And by the time Valentine's Day came, I had a lot more traffic on my Etsy store. And there were about 30 items on there at the time. So that was kind of cool. So it just grew from there.
And today you don't have an in-store location, correct? You host events and you show up at boutiques and you do these...
Actually, I'm in a couple of stores.
Okay, very cool. That's what we're here to find out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like I vendor with them. And then, of course, I'm also the artisan jeweler for the Lincoln Gallery, which is also a very, fun, and it was very serendipitous that I kind of came across that too. So everything has kind of been right place at the right time for me. And so for my jewelry, where it can be found is Blush Boutique in Greeley, also at Vintage Willows in Loveland, downtown Loveland, and then the Artisan Center in Cherry Creek North.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, the Lincoln Gallery, too, which I make special pieces for them. That's more of the precious metals line that I do. So it's got more sterling silver and 22 karat gold and stuff like that. So Lincoln Gallery is in downtown Loveland. It's right, actually, just catty corner from the Loveland Museum. And they've been at that location since the 90s, I believe, but they started in the 60s. And it's been there for a long time. So it's actually part of the Thompson Valley Art League. And they're the ones who also run the Art in the Park show. I don't think you've heard of it.
No, I haven't. No.
So it's basically happens every August, and it's in Sculpture Park, I believe it's what it's called in Loveland. And they have the sculpture show with it where people have their bronzes and stuff, but there's also a fine art show for artists and artisans like me. So everybody comes, and it's a 2-day event, and there's a lot of people come from out of town to, just to come and enjoy the show too. So yeah, they've been around for quite some time.
Right. And so in addition to those places, people can order on your website, maybe like through a Facebook, and you have social media presence?
Absolutely. I've been trying to work hard on it because it wasn't something I thought was important, but really it's how you reach so many people. And I've been very fortunate that when I have been more active in social media, I have met people from all over the world, and they've been very kind, and they always want to know what I'm doing next and what they can order and stuff. So I've been fortunate enough that through my Etsy store, I've shipped worldwide, which has been amazing. not just locally, but everywhere. And I would say my website is up actually. Yes.
Yeah.
It's theharmonybazaar.com. So, we're trying to keep it updated and stuff. It's very new. So we're trying to make sure all my events are on there for the coming year. And I'm excited. I've got a lot of things going on right now. So
yeah, I had not even heard of jewelry allergy, a metal allergy. And maybe this is just a realm I don't know about, but this is very surprising to me.
What's funny is I thought the same thing. I honestly thought I was probably one of the only people out there who had this. And I was like, maybe that's why I can't find anything from me. Since I started, and because of the research I did, and I found out it was cadmium, I learned that it's not just me. Because when I went online, I saw people, talking about it and what it actually does. And it sounded so similar to me, how I break out. And they said, you have to stay away from it. And it was eye-opening, really, how many people are affected by this. And then the other thing that I saw as I've done shows, last year I did a lot of craft shows and art shows. And I can't tell you how many folks, when I would say, oh, it's hypoallergenic, they were like, really? How so? And then when I would explain it to them, they're like, I'm sure I still can't wear it. I had one lady, she met me at a show in Longmont, and she said, I can't wear anything. And I said, well, try it. I can make the length, on your chain long enough. They could just wear it on clothes if it doesn't work for you. And she's like, I really love this piece and I want to try it out. I said, well, try it. I said, I'll be here next month because I was doing the holiday show too. It's called Molly McGee. It's a big craft show also in its 39th year now.
Yeah.
So
I've actually heard of that one.
Yeah. So
I'm in the know.
There you go. And it's wonderful because, again, it's a big, like an arts and crafts show. So everybody basically makes handmade stuff. So when this lady was like, I've looked at everybody's jewelry, but I really wanted to buy yours and I'm so scared. I said, well, try it. If it doesn't work, come back next month and I can replace it for you or refund you. Because if you have an allergy, there's nothing you can do. So she did come back next month. And it was very surprising when I saw her. I was like, oh no, I bet she didn't like it or it didn't work, And she was just so amazing. She came up to me, she says, nothing has worked all these years. It must be what you were talking about. And so then I explained to her more about cadmium being in things. And she said, well, I so appreciate that because now I can go and buy things for myself that are not very expensive, wear day to day. And I'd also like you to make me like 6 more chains, so I can use it with my other jewelry so I can wear it at different lengths. So if it bothers me, at least the chain's protecting me. And that's what that chain does when it's cadmium free. It'll protect you when it's around your neck and you can still wear a piece with it that can sit on your clothes and stuff if you're not sure about it. But for me, that's been just been amazing because after that, I've had no problems. And if it's worked for me, I'm so sensitive that I'm pretty sure it would work for a lot of people. So
maybe some other listeners are thinking this too, but what metals do you use? I mean, we've got no nickel, no cadmium.
Yeah,
right?
So for things that are just nickel and lead free, and I try to do plated jewelry that is at least nickel and lead free. So that would be your like silver plated, gold plated, rose gold plated. And those are usually have an underlining of brass before they're plated with gold and silver and rose gold. Or copper. So I've met one person who's actually had a copper allergy. And I was like, okay, well, I wouldn't go here. I'd stay to this section. And that's what I try to do with my shows too. I kind of put my jewelry out. So exactly. So if someone's looking for something specific, they can say, ooh, I can't do that at all. I'm like, okay, then stay to this side. And I was so surprised last year when I was doing all my shows, how many people actually said, oh yeah, I can't do that, but I can definitely do this. So it was nice to be able to give them options, whether it was hand-cut metals or anything that they were looking for, but it was just stuff that they hadn't seen before, which was kind of nice to hear. Very unusual and original, and also at the same time, something they could possibly wear. And so far, thank goodness, knock on wood, which I won't do, no complaints so far about the allergy part. So yeah, we've been pretty fortunate. So.
You probably give people relief. Oh my gosh, I found a jewelry line in a bazaar that I can go to.
Absolutely. And that's what's been so nice is that Harmony Bazaar is really becoming synonymous with hypoallergenic, which is really nice for me because it didn't start that way. I just was looking for something for myself, but the fact that it's helped so many people and they've enjoyed my jewelry and they've come back to me and told me about it, that just is amazing and means the world to me because I like knowing that it's not just for me, it's for other people out there. Because I'll ask, I'm like, if you have any allergies, let me know. And some people say, oh, no allergies. I'm like, well, great. Here it all is, you know.
And the whole table
exactly.
is open for you.
But it's been surprising. I mean, I would say almost 50-50 at many shows. People have said, oh, I can't wear jewelry. Or
50-50?
50-50.
Wow.
I've been very surprised. I thought everybody could do it. Having done the craft shows, especially down the holiday season, that's when you really see. And people who are actually looking for gifts when they buy something for themselves and are so excited about it. That's what's so nice to see, that they can actually buy something too.
Yeah. The concept of an allergy has always struck me as interesting. And, you know, I get it. Well, maybe I don't get it, but it's interesting for me to think. Do you not have allergies? I don't.
Which is wonderful.
I have some strange allergies that activate when I go back to the center of the country, like Oklahoma, Texas, in the spring and the fall. I think some people call it hay fever. I'm not really exactly what.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me that our biological systems in our bodies, our respiratory system and our skin with these metal allergies, that some of us just have these, they're basically like an overreaction from the body that is not letting us cope with things in our environment. Right. It's just fascinating that these have like elevated. And then now there's this, just the idea that there are people in 50-50. Yeah. Of people who put certain metal on their skin and it gives a bad reaction. It's just fast. Like, I can't get over that.
And a lot of stuff, and I hate to say this, but you know, a lot of stuff these days is so chemical. I mean, when you buy stuff, say from Walmart, like somebody will say to me, well, you know, what's in it? And I'll explain it to them. But if you go to Target or Walmart, anywhere, when you see a piece of jewelry, you don't know what's in there. I've actually done the research and I'm telling people this is exactly what you're going to get in this. And I think more and more people, when they go to those stores and they get this stuff, they don't know what's happening. They're like, oh, I just broke out. I have eczema or something. And then they find out it's actually an allergy to metal. What's in that metal? We don't know. There's no explanation. Some of it doesn't even say nickel and lead free. It just is out there. Yeah. And it's pretty stuff. People think they can wear it for a while and it won't bother them, but it's starting to get worse and worse. I think it's getting worse. The more we see people not wanting to buy jewelry in stores, like they will come to craft shows and buy things from people handmade because of the whole, you know, it being authentic and more organic per se. So, yeah.
Yeah, if there's an increase in metal allergy, I wonder why. Like, what's causing this? Or
well, and it could be anything. Like, see, my problem, I think, stems from, I have a sun allergy, like a heat allergy. So I have very sensitive skin to begin with. So something in that chemical makeup, I think, bothers me, where the cadmium comes in. Where I didn't know, but I always wore sterling silver. I've always worn 24, 22 karat gold. It's never bothered me. But it was when even when I was younger, when I would see something, you know, just say pretty at Target, I would be like, oh, this is so cute. It's a friendship bracelet. Half an hour later.
Not anymore.
Oh my gosh, my hands are itching. What is this? So it was just one of those things where I never understood it, but I had to be careful. It got to the point where when I ordered the stuff from Etsy, it was kind of heartbreaking because I was like, okay, this is supposed to be hypoallergenic. What's going on? Why can't I do this? So that's when I really wanted to know what was the problem versus just, oh, I'm just going to make something. Because I thought even if I make something, I might not be able to wear it.
And what road led you before starting this? We had talked before the show, before we started recording, that you had actually dabbled in psychology yourself.
Well, it's funny because when I moved out to Fort Collins back right at the end of the year 2000, I came out to actually help family out. My grandma had gotten sick, so she was recovering from surgery, and I was the only one who wasn't doing anything. I was kind of at a crossroads back home in Pakistan where my mom lives. And I was trying to say, okay, what do I want to do? And not being a fan of going back to school, I just am one of those people who didn't do very well with studying and stuff. And I thought, oh, you know, I just need to figure out what to do with my life. And moved out here, started taking some classes right here, Front Range. And, you know, I started working at a Hallmark store after I got married, which was just a couple months later. And from there, when I was looking for a real job, it just happens that I saw an opening at a psychology practice here in town. And so I applied there, and it was just a receptionist position, which was great. And having had background, my major was psychology and my minor was English literature. Okay. So
lots of writing.
Lots of writing, yes.
Yeah,
and that's
you love to write.
I do. Originally, I thought I was going to be like a writer or a blogger or something. I never thought I would be like a jeweler, you know, so never even imagined, but I love it. So, but yeah, that's where I kind of started. So I worked at a psychology practice right here in Fort Collins for 10 years.
Wow.
And it was an awesome experience. Got to meet lots of people. I worked for 6 incredible doctors. They were amazing. The reason I quit was because I wanted to become a stay-at-home mom, because I was, expecting my first, and it was kind of a strange situation because I'd done that for so long. I didn't know how the stay-at-home mom bit was going to work for me. So it was, I pretty much worked for a long time and then took a break, and then, so that's kind of my background.
And then Harmony Bazaar found you.
It really did. And never did I think it was going to be a business. I didn't set out to start a business. I didn't set out to make money at it. It was something I enjoyed so much that I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, how do I keep doing it? And originally I thought I'd go back to work eventually when my kids are older. But this was just kind of nice to have a hobby. I mean, first it was like, oh, Nina's got a little hobby. It's so cute. People still don't know exactly what I do. I mean, I have friends and family on my Facebook who still ask me, so do you just put things together like from Hobby Lobby, or do you just, do you just order from like China or something? And I'm going, no, I actually learned kind of a trade almost, but it took a long time. So I love it when people ask about it because I can explain what I'm actually doing. And I love it because I just keep making newer things and finding out more and more about jewelry and metals and materials, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you had mentioned before that your parents were involved in psychiatry.
So my mom's a psychiatrist and my dad's an engineer, and he works for oil companies. Or
right.
He did.
Out of Texas.
Well, exactly.
Right.
Well, he worked with the Texas-based oil company Aramco till he retired, and so now he's kind of like a consultant. So after retirement, so he still kind of works and travels a lot, and he loves it. He's one of those people who loves to travel, so it's kind of nice for him.
Yeah. You've been in Fort Collins for 19 years, almost 19 years now. Mm-hmm. Any weird parallels, or like, what do you think of Fort Collins and Colorado in general compared to all the places that you grew up?
It's so funny because when I think about it, literally Colorado is the first place I've lived the longest in my life in one place. And again, a very strange situation that, that I actually ended up here. My dad asked my brother and I to come out here in 1994 for Christmas. We had just moved to Colorado and we loved it. It was, winter wonderland. It was so gorgeous. And it was the first time we traveled alone. And then my dad and mom decided that we could visit in the summers because this is where my dad's base was going to be because he was working for a company here then for a while. So that's what led him to Colorado and Fort Collins. So we visited for, I want to say, from 95 till about 99, we were visiting every summer.
Okay.
Then
it's a sweet summer.
It was awesome. It was 3 months here. And, we kind of forgot how cold it got because we would always come in the summertime.
Right.
And it was just so beautiful. Exactly. It was always so beautiful and nice. And, and then when you're visiting so often, you make friends. And that's what happened to me. I was so lucky to make some incredible friends here. In fact, one of my closest friends, my best friend, she was raised in Colorado too. She actually moved here from Pakistan too when she was 9 years old. And her family used to run restaurants all over town and car dealerships. So she and I were actually taking classes here together. And so it was kind of nice that we met in the summer and we had a friendship, and then go to realize that not only are we, Pakistani descendant, but also we were born in the same hospital, just 2 years apart by the same doctor.
What?
That's how small a world it is sometimes. Like we were talking about small world.
Yeah.
And so our families had been trying to get us to meet for the longest time, like for a while. And we're just like, no, I don't want to meet somebody you're telling me to meet. And so we finally meet at
like
school.
Like an old school arranged marriage.
Exactly. It was crazy. Exactly. So we met just because my brother walks in. I have a younger brother. And so he was taking math classes. And he walks in with my friend Farah, and not my best friend Farah, and he says, hey, look who I found. And, so I'm like, hi. And I was like, oh, I don't know her. So turns out we were, avoiding each other, but we turned out to be best friends. And then our families have known each other for very long. Her mom and my mom actually went to the same school back home.
Wow.
So it just, when you sit down and you start talking about how you know people, it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So
yeah, from Pakistan to Fort
Collins, of all the places in the world.
That is so cool.
It was amazing. So of course we've been best friends since. So we met in 97 right here.
Yeah, and you had to say, Mom, Dad, you were right.
Yeah, you were right.
Yep.
So don't discount when your parents try to get you to meet new people.
It's not always bad.
Not always
right.
bad.
Sometimes embarrassing, not always bad. Very cool. So any events that people should know of in the near future or something that's right on the horizon here for Harmony Bazaar?
Yes, I'm very excited. I've been applying for shows now, actually, since December. It's really strange how early people book shows. And that's how I missed so many of them last year. But this year I was a little more prepared.
There you go.
Now that I know
Lessons
the craft
learned.
a little better, yeah. So I'm very excited. I just found out I'll be doing Art in the Park this year. Excited and also a little nervous because it's a lot of inventory. So I got to start working on it. So that'll be fun. And then I'm also hosting my first ever pop-up at the Lincoln Gallery on February 9th. And that's going to be with the Sweetheart Festival that's going to be going on. So we're kind of excited because that's new for downtown Loveland. And they've got so many wonderful events going on that weekend that we thought, okay, we need to do something fun too at the gallery. And so we're going to have a kind of like a champagne, chocolate, and love reception the night before, Friday night when actual festivities start down in Loveland. And then the Saturday, the 9th, we'll have a little pop-up where we have different artists coming in and stuff. And they'll all kind of have like Valentine's Day themed gifts to do.
Make their own gifts.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. So if anyone wants to follow up on this info or maybe just browse what you have, theharmonybazaar.com.
Absolutely. Or Instagram is also The Harmony Bazaar.
That's how I found you?
Exactly. And Facebook as well. And yeah, so it's going to be a fun year, I think.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Ivan. I appreciate you having me. It's been fun.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have some shout outs for a couple people who make this show live and breathe, making it all possible. Trevor Fossey edits, mixes, and EQs our episodes, putting the time in behind the scenes. Russell Isaac Long provides us with the wonderful music that greets and departs all our episodes here at the NoCo. It's people like these two who have made this show possible, and I thank you both very much. To stay connected with the NoCo, follow us on Instagram or Facebook at the NoCo. Original, right? Don't worry, listener. We will be back soon with another episode featuring another person or a group of people. Thank you to everyone out there for listening and supporting the show and bringing our community together. Until next time, peace!